All right, it is getting on toward the end of October, and I have cleaned out the litter out of the chicken run. Some of our chickens are still coming out of a molt, so they look a little rough. But you can see here, the run was full of, hello, what looks like compost, dry compost, and that is because we have thrown a lot of leaves, a lot of food scraps through here, like these bean holes, and the chickens scratch through them, mix them up, and poop in it. And over the time, it breaks down into a pretty nice compost. I built a second compost bin, and I'll go show you guys what that looks like now. The garden is starting to be cleared out, and here, back up a little bit, here is the second compost bin on the left. You can see the fresh lumber. That is last year's compost. I cleared out the chicken litter, threw in some bones and food scraps occasionally here that I didn't want going to the chickens, onions and raw potatoes and stuff like that. Grew some nice pumpkins out of this, almost burned them up, but gave them plenty of nutrients, and it's broke down plenty good enough to put in this year. I try to let this stuff sit a year, and then I mix it into my beds. And this is this year's. Look how much that is. That was empty, completely empty, not too long ago. And the only thing I've put in there so far is the leaves you see on top. That's from the churchyard tomato vines that are on top there. And there's tomato vines and a few old pieces of pumpkin vine from the garden this year. Every time I would bring a wheelbarrow over and start loading it up, I would throw vines on top and then throw dirt on top. You can see some of the vines sticking out here. So that is a lot of compost that is going to break down over the next year and then get mixed into the garden beds. I'm going to pull the mulch back, put a little more compost on top of all these beds, and I am finishing up the run up there by that yellow bucket over there. I'm filling up the last bed with compost and then mulching it, and those beds will be done and ready to plant next spring. So a lot of compost for no higher cost than just bringing bags of leaves, bags of dead leaves to the chickens, letting them mix them up, pooping them, scratch them around, and then shoveling it out once a year. Once a year is all it takes, and this is the end result. A nice compost that you can grow pumpkins out of while it's still hot and mix into your beds in the winter like this. This winter we'll do that. So that's it. I would encourage you guys, if you have chickens in an enclosed run like we have to have because of predators, put them to work making compost. Throw them lots of brown material, lots of carbon, shredded paper, leaves and stuff, and they will make you some nice compost for your garden.